What's up, New Jersey? It's your homegirl and local realtor, Lauren Patterson, back with another market update. Today, we're breaking down the latest CPI report, what it means and why it matters. Plus, we're talking about the government shutdown and how it's shaking up the real estate market. Let's get started. So before we get into the CPI, let's talk about this government shutdown. Congress failed to pass the funding bills that keep federal agencies running. Because they couldn't agree, funding has lapsed and a partial shutdown started at midnight on October 1st. The shutdown has caused federal departments to pause operations, with some workers going on furlough and others still showing up without a paycheck. It's really disheartening when you think about how many families are being affected. Normally, those numbers would help us track where the economy is heading. The CPI, or Consumer Price Index, breaks down things like inflation, whether prices for food, rent, or other essentials are rising, if unemployment is going up, or if the housing market is cooling off. But we don't have an update yet because of the shutdown. The good news is that by the end of next week, we should start seeing more data roll out once things get back on track. For now, let's take a look at the most recent numbers we do have. The latest CPI report for August 2025 shows that the overall prices are up 2.9% over the past year, with it being the highest annual inflation rate since January. On a monthly basis, prices rose 0.4% in August. Core inflation, which excludes food and energy, held steady at 3.1%. Breaking it down more and looking at the key categories for August, we see that shelter, including rent and housing costs, went up 0.4%, which was the leading single contributor for the overall CPI increase. Food prices rose 3.2%, which we see in our grocery bills. Energy ticked up 0.2%, bouncing back after a bit of a drop over the last few months. Used cars and trucks jumped 6%, so buying a pre-owned vehicle is getting pricier. Motor vehicle insurance also went up 4.7%, adding more costs to car owners. But we see that medical care actually dropped slightly by 0.2%, so a bit of relief there. But what does this mean for us here in New Jersey? Well, inflation is still creeping up, and that affects everything from groceries to your monthly mortgage payments. Rising shelter costs in particular can make buying or renting a home a bit more expensive. Speaking of homes, the New Jersey real estate market is still moving, but we're seeing some shifts. As of September 2025, home prices are up 4.8% from last year. The number of homes sold rose 7.9%, with 7,912 homes changing hands in September. Single-family homes are still the hottest segment, with prices climbing nearly 6%, and inventory is tight. Townhomes and condos, on the other hand, are cooling. Sales are down 10% and inventory is up 3.4%. On the commercial side of things, we're seeing some positive movement. The industrial market, like warehouses, distribution centers, and manufacturing spaces, recently added 4.8 million square feet of occupied space in the third quarter. That's the first time in a year that more space was filled than emptied, and that's a good sign. The office market is also showing improvement. For the second quarter in a row, more office space was leased than vacated, which hasn't happened since 2022. It's a sign that businesses are starting to stabilize and there's a growing confidence in the office sector again. So even though we're waiting on updated reports from the shutdown, this gives us a clear snapshot. Prices are rising. The housing market is still strong in some areas while cooling in others, and the commercial sector is slowly stabilizing. The New Jersey market is still shifting and changing, but it's definitely not stagnant. I'd love to hear from you guys, so drop a comment below to let me know how you're doing during the government shutdown and what your thoughts are on the current market. I'd love to hear from you. It's been real. It's your New Jersey homegirl, and I'll see you soon.